Hello and welcome to the 90s Mags podcast, your best place to go for all things Newcastle United, hosted by three lifelong Newcastle United fans. Myself, D-Man, joined by my co-host AC and Jefferson. How you doing, guys?
What up? What up?
Good?
Good to be
Feeling
back
good?
in the house.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
A-
feeling good. Feeling good.
yeah? Don't
Yeah,
forget
very
to
good.
so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you've liked the previous episodes. If you like this one, share with your friends, share with your people, get those views up, the subscribers up. But yeah, well, I don't know if you can tell. Well, two out of three of us. The theme today is all things Euros. Yeah, the Euros is going on. A lot of football, a lot of things to go through. But the main subject will be our beloved England. Yeah. So as you know, England scraped through by a whisker against their last opponents in the last 16 round of 16, Slovakia, 2-1 after extra time. Boy, what are your last overall thoughts about the game itself, the performance? I'll start with you, AC.
Wow. I think, you know, the good old saying that men lie, women lie, numbers don't kind of thing. And when
Hope.
it comes and when it comes to this, there's a stat that really sums up this game really well. Is that we only had 2 shots on target for the whole game. And as you can expect, those 2 shots comes by those 2 goals. Now, Bellingham's overhead kick, which I have to say was a great goal, fantastic goal,
Sublime. Sublime.
really good goal. And, you got to give credit where it's due. And for him to have to do that in a game, the audacity to do that at a particular time, knowing how much time was left on the clock, like that move could have went horribly wrong. And that could have been the most embarrassing movement of the whole tournament. But he pulled it off. But the fact is that only 2 shots on target the whole game. It sums it up. It was quite a dull experience, I have to say. It wasn't. I was expecting a bit more. I think knowing that a lot of people talking about it in the news, a lot of pundits talking about it. We're going to talk a bit later about the players even reacting towards that and their feedback as well. I expected a bit more, and I was highly disappointed. And it just looked a bit flat, and it all goes back down to the fact that Southgate and his choices of where people are playing, who's starting as well. It was just more of the same, in my opinion.
Jefferson, what about you?
Very much rinse and repeat. We know, you know, basically bar the first half an hour in the first game, the performances have been pretty dire, quite underwhelming, and we've gradually got worse and worse to a point where, yeah, we couldn't get a shot off or a shot on target in those 90 minutes. And I think the team looked really bereft of ideas. There's a few things that are very, very evident. You've got a really unbalanced team. So AC touched on the team selection, which has been poor. Um, but I think as well the team don't seem confident with the ball. I know Menu tried to progress the ball as much as he could, but what you notice with the team is they take more than one touch. So when you watch other teams, they're taking like 2 touches and passing the ball max. We're taking 3, 4, 5 touches, and as we know, that allows the defense to set and get back in position. So you think these guys are meant to be elite players from the Premier League and other top levels of European football, and it just felt like we couldn't even get the basics right, and they just seem really bereft of ideas, frustration creeping in. And actually, when you look at the goals, they're Championship League One standard goals. Obviously, I'm not talking about the actual overhead kick, but it's come from a throw on, and we've gone a bit more direct in terms of the second goal. So we know that tougher opposition will lie ahead. So it's not really inspiring, or the performance wasn't enough to give you confidence to think we're going to go on to win this thing. Lastly, I think the other thing is all of this was very, very preventable. We've said this week after week now, and it feels like form-wise, they've hit rock bottom.
Yeah, I mean, just to echo what you guys said. I mean, I thought the performance was pathetic. Like given the fact that they've played so badly in the first 3 games, you'd thought, okay, knockout football, things are going to improve. Gareth might make a few more changes. And it was the same old England. Like you said, they were slow with their passing, taking too long on the ball, especially, to be honest, especially Bellingham. I noticed when they did try to move a bit quicker, it goes to Bellingham and he's just taking too many touches and he's releasing it way too late. But I think I keep highlighting it. Like, it's for years now, even the lower nations, so lower ranked nations, know how to pass the ball around properly, quickly, and more direct, and they're all comfortable on the ball. Whereas England, for their clubs, they seem comfortable on the ball when they're playing in the Premier League and stuff. But when they come to the national team, they seem like a lot of them seem scared to express themselves, and they're not comfortable on the ball enough. So it's a bit. The performance was disappointing. Things I say things have to improve, but I don't know if they will. But yeah, and like I said, the nature of the goals that we scored, it looked like we're back to the dark age with the route one. It was route one. Listen, it was effective, but do you really want to see both goals like that to win the game? Like I said, Bellingham with the class bicycle kick, but the build up itself, it's and the goal they conceded as well was very sloppy, very sloppy. But listen, it wasn't all doom and gloom. Yeah, so there were some positives, if we can take any positives from the game. Jefferson, what do you reckon? What were the main positives from that performance, would you say, if any?
Well, if this was family fortunes, then ding, 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 the top answer would be that we're qualified. So that's a huge positive that we've managed to squeeze through despite the poor performance. And you hope that they've kind of had enough of a scare that will kind of shake them up, and really move to the next gear in the next game, because they're going to need it. But I think as well, for players that have faced criticism, you mentioned Bellingham earlier, some of them got to kind of silence the critics a little bit. I know I
Mhm.
got on at Kane, particularly last week. I still think he was poor, but he got that goal. He got that goal, what he's there for, and the same for Bellingham, in style as well. Um, I think with games like that, when you've been through adversity, hopefully that's going to improve the team spirit and pull them together. And I think you can also learn from really sort of tough, grinding out victories. Those are the aspects of tournament football, I guess. So, yeah, just trying to really squeeze those positives out of like the toothpaste, that last little bit of toothpaste. That's what that was like.
Roll it up, roll it up.
Just to add to that, I mean, you're right. Like, the main positive was, listen, got through to the next round. By hook or crook, we got through, qualified to the quarterfinals, right? Now, and if you're looking at it positively, England are on the favourable side of the draw. So, they're not really going to fear anybody on there, which you expect. Well, we get to that later, progressing through that
We'll
thing.
get to
But
that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But I will say, for me, the main positive was the performance of Kobe Mainu. I thought, on his first start for England, competitive start for England, I thought he did very well. He he was trying to pass the ball around quickly. He looked comfortable on the ball. He was trying to press. He was more direct with it, trying to make things happen. And he didn't look phased at all. He didn't look out of his comfort zone at all on the big stage. And you know, there's been a lot of hype about him since he's burst on the scene for Manchester United. Some people thought it was a bit early for him to get his debut for England. Some people thought it was too early for him to be taken to the Euros. But to be honest, he's proven a lot of doubters wrong, and those that have championed him, he's proved them right. And if he keeps them performances up, he'll be one of the key men for England moving forward. So a nice surprise. I mean, I won't say a nice surprise because he came on second half of the previous game, and he did well. But he's carried on. He looks comfortable, and I'd be surprised if he isn't one of the first names on the team sheet moving forward. So that for me was the other positive, other than the win itself. Yeah, I mean, AC, anything you want to add in terms of Manu or any other positives?
Yeah, I'll just echo that a bit and just say, personally, at the beginning of this, of him getting picked for the squad, I was a doubter. I didn't think he could step up to the plate. I thought it was too early for him, the amount of pressure. And also, I thought Southgate would probably take him and not play him, one of those ones as well. But to the surprise, he's been excellent. He's actually one of our best players at the moment, I have to say. And there's some really good stats when we're thinking about the differences between himself and Gallagher. Because I want to go back one game before, when we're talking about Slovenia. So when we're talking about looking at Gallagher here, and this is the Slovenia game where he started. This is the touches that Gallagher had. Now you can see Gallagher is very much stuck to the right hand side. He's got a lot of touches around that side on the wing there. But in the comparison now to Maino, it's complete night and day experiences here. Maino is everywhere. And it just highlights his game. He's getting to a lot of spaces. He's adapting really well. Not scared to get out of his comfort zone. Not scared to just open up space. And what that does as well is not only increases his game, but other people around him are able to adapt and move on forward as well.
So would you say that two things? Would you say that Kobbie Mainoo is probably one of the more technically gifted members of that England squad? Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of how many technically gifted, other than Foden. Is there any others, Foden and Mainoo? Is there any others that would think are in that bracket for England?
I think Saka should be included in that. I think Saka, he is technically gifted. I do think there are some other players as well who unfortunately are not starting for England or not getting much of a look in. And we're going to get into that in the negatives, because we've got people like Ivan Toney, who came on for a very short amount of time and had a really great impact on the game as well.
And okay, and the comparison between Gallagher and Mainoo, right? So I know, just skipping quickly, but if obviously we know England through to the next round, right? And it's even more, it's more squeaky bum time in terms of getting knocked out now. So it's quarterfinal time. I'm sure we'd agree that Gallagher is probably more defensively disciplined than Mainoo, right? But Mainoo offers more offensively, right? Do you think, which way do you think Gareth sways towards going into the quarterfinals? Yeah, against tougher opposition, let's be honest, Switzerland. Does he the more pragmatic defensive approach to start with, or because Gallagher's got energy, right? So Gallagher, you could argue that last 15 minutes of game, 20 minutes when people are tired, bring him on, the energy's there. But does he want to keep it tight? Initially, starting Gallagher, or does he go, given Mainoo's performance? Does he start Mainoo?
Yeah, I think Southgate is naturally very defensive play. He's a defender himself, and I think he might go with Gallagher to start, maybe, because when you look at the opposition of Switzerland, and if you've been paying attention to them, Switzerland, they push up the field. they go out all at attack. Their defenders are coming up high. Sometimes have a high line as well. So I think in that regards, he might rely on Gallagher just to, keep it tidy, stay put. And even though we know, looking at the previous graphic there, where Gallagher was stuck to the right-hand side, almost just stuck in the same area, Southgate might prefer that, and then maybe he does that change later on. But I think at the same time, I would like to see, if he is going to start with Gallagher, that don't be afraid to bring on Mainoo a bit earlier. Don't wait till 65 or 70 minutes. It's going to be too late. We want to see, I don't mind if you bring him on at 35 minutes. Don't be afraid. Switch
Just
up the
be bold.
tactics. Yeah, be bold. Be bold with it. If you know that we're on the back foot too much, switch it up. It's okay. We don't demand the starting 11 to play 75 minutes and then you're making a change.
Jefferson, just quickly with you, Mainoo or Gallagher, who does Southgate go with for the next one?
I think he's going to go with Mainoo. I said it in the previous episode that he would have seen that 45 minutes and go, yeah, my problem's solved. And that's what he did. He started him. So I think creature of habit, easy fix. But I think, to be fair, I think the difference between Switzerland and the other teams is that they're going to be more open and they're actually going to attack. Particularly Slovenia and Slovakia were playing with a low block, playing counter attack, and that's why we struggled to open them up. So we're gonna need Mainu in terms of being able to progress the ball, and he's very intelligent with the way he uses the ball. For example, I notice he'll do a lot of misman passes to utilize the space and get ahead another 5 yards quicker. So I think Gareth will try and disguise it as if it's a master plan. This is what he's planned all along, and it's on the basis that Switzerland are just more open and attacking. So I think Mainu will start the game.
Okay, so all right, so we've given the positives for the Three Lions, yeah. Let's get on to the negatives for what some people are labeling as the Three Blind Mice, right? So we could be here all day, yeah, but because there are quite a few negatives to take from that performance. So let's start with you, Jefferson. What do you reckon?
I mean, quite simply, we've already talked about that almost lack of attacking potency, i.e., getting sort of shots on target. I think the manner of the way we conceded the goal was poor. We got cut open in that moment. But I think generally, the biggest thing for me is we get in front, right? You can argue by fortuitous luck. Um, and then Gareth all of a sudden decides, all right, we've done our job now. Let's play under pressure defensively for the last 15 minutes. Why would you do that? Why? So then he makes these defensive changes. It was Gallagher and I think Esri Konsa he brings on. Why? Why? They were on the ropes at that point. You know, sort of life was sucked out of them. And that was the time to bring on Gordon for me. Again, I think another
Absolutely.
negative was the lack of a Gordon appearance. Don't get me wrong, Eze contributed to the goal with the scuffed shot, but other than that, I don't really think he contributed too much to the game. So I don't know what Gordon's supposedly done to not be getting minutes. For me, that's a huge negative. The other one is we've still got this issue with Harry Kane, where he keeps coming too deep. We don't need another creator. Stay where you are. And I think, to be fair, to add as a positive, is that we realized that I think we basically changed the three at the back. It kind of was like a 3-4-1-2, a 3-5-2 kind of situation. And to be fair, Kane thrived having sort of Tony up there with him. So that's something hopefully Gareth will learn from the game. But for me, the changes were too late, man. Too late again. Why? Why? We were so lucky.
Hey, see, what do you reckon?
Yeah, just to echo it a lot here, and something I want to focus on is when Southgate actually brought in Ivan Toney. It was 2 minutes to the final whistle. And for me, I almost see that as quite disrespectful. And don't get me wrong, right? The situation was that we equalized. So he brought another tackle on. I get it. But, at that particular time, Ivan Toney must be looking at him like, you're kidding me, right? You're better off even just waiting until the final whistle and then we start the next extra time and then bring me on. Why are you bringing me on now? And I just want to go on.
So just on that, I don't know if you saw Southgate's comments when he said that Ivan Toney was disgusted that he was coming on that
Oh
late,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, I saw
Now,
that.
I've seen a lot of commentary about this. They're saying that, obviously he did well, he impacted the game and stuff, but he shouldn't be showing his discontent to the manager because that could seep through to the negativity, affect the mood of the camp. You've got one bad egg, basically. Like what? Like I'm thinking, bro, if that was me, I've always said if a manager brings me on in injury time, I'm not coming on. I'm not coming on. You're wasting my time, bro. You are wasting my time and you're mocking me. So credit to him, yeah. And he didn't show no discontent when he came on, right?
Mm,
So for Southgate to come out and say, I don't know if Southgate meant it like that, but he needs to think before he speaks because people jump on it and assume they've already got, obviously because of the betting thing and whatnot, they've already got a picture painted of him. This don't help. So choose your words carefully, man. Choose your words carefully. But That bit annoyed me, bro. But sorry to interrupt you anyway.
No, it's really well said what you mentioned there, and Southgate's reaction was just awful, and Ivan Toney he should be disgusted by it, And look at these stats here. These stats are incredible, right? This is a guy who came on for 2 minutes to go in final time and played extra time, which we know is just 30 minutes, right? 15 minutes each way. And I just want to say as well, during that extra time as well, majority of that, Ivan Toney was playing isolated as well because Gareth decided to park the bus now, right? He's got everyone doing the bus stop, right? um, in defense, right? Everyone's doing the bus stop, queuing up. And Ivan Toney still were able to pull out these stats. And these stats are a lot better and impressive than Harry Kane's stats for the whole 90 minutes of the game,
Believe it.
right? Now, we know he's not going to pull Harry Kane. Harry Kane's not going to not start. He's like a default. He's always going to be there, regardless of his status. He could have a broken leg. He will still play Harry Kane. But my point is that you got a squad, you should use it. A good point made earlier is that Harry Kane thrived a lot better when he had support at the top. It makes you realize Harry Kane can't necessarily play up front on his own. It's too much of a job. Let's face it, he ain't got the pace. Even when he turns, it's a bit slow at times. It's a bit like, once again, too many touches. Ivan Toney now looks hungry. The guy looks up for it. Even the way he took that header, he took it like it was just training. It was like nothing to him. And the way he guided it and gave it to Kane on the plate, I'm telling you now, if you start him alongside Kane, you're going to see a massive improvement the way we attack. But also, we can't forget other players as well in the squad who deserve to be getting some limelight as well, who was not seen, like you said, like Gordon. I don't know what's going on there with Gordon. It's alarming. It's just, I know Gordon had a injury. He fell off his bike and whatnot. And I don't know if that was like a precaution thing. But anyway, he got a little graze, man. So have a bit of have a bit of cowpole and get back on it. That's what I say.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you kept covered most of it anyway, and you mentioned it previously. Like the negatives for me, the fact that we had two shots on target for the whole game, and the first shot came in the 95th minute, yeah, when Bellingham scored, and the second one obviously was the winner. Now, against no disrespect to Slovakia, but you can't be performing like that. The overall performance stunk, right? And what was more disappointing was that obviously a lot of it comes down to Gareth and his tactical approach, right? But the players as well, you still need to perform. I think pretty much everybody underperformed in that game or the starting lineup, right? Apart from Mainu, and you could argue Gahey because he made a block in the second half. I think it was the second half,
Really
a
good
goal
block.
saving block, very good. But Carl Walker had an absolute nightmare. Yeah, he was out of position for that first goal as well. But all game, right? Because he couldn't. Carl Walker's fast, right? But they had a bit of pace in their team, and they were troubling him, right? Now, when he comes up against Switzerland, they've got more than one player with pace, which is going to be, there's rumors that Gareth might switch to a back three and stuff and have him as the third centre back and that. So, don't know. But Bellingham was poor up until the goal. Kane was poor. Foden poor again. They've moved Saka to left back, right? Now, it's interesting because Gareth did that, but it was Ian Wright that suggested it at the end of the last game, right? Put him left back and to accommodate Palmer, and that's what he did. Now, why is it that it's taken Ian Wright to tell you what to do? Like, it's embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the overall style of play, the defensive approach, especially going 2-1 up and you park the bus. It's absolutely disgusting, embarrassing, and I just don't know if things are going to get better. I don't
It's
know if things are going to get
lethargic.
better.
It's
It is
lethargic.
lethargic.
And in
Yeah,
the very next game, watching Spain v Georgia, it was like the brakes were off.
and this is it.
And Georgia, who's seen as probably a third tier nation, an evolving nation. Yes, they've got
Mm,
a
Hmm.
fantastic goalkeeper and an outstanding winger. But that aside, they were playing slicker football than England. How is
and this
that
is
even
it.
possible?
This is it.
And
And the
that's how you know
disappointing,
it.
Georgia looked good, man. Georgia
Yeah,
looked good. I'm
yeah.
telling
they
you.
all look good. They all look good. Look at the Austria and Turkey that played yesterday as well. That how good the attacking football they
Great
were
game.
playing.
Great game.
But the thing is, what's I'm saying what's more concerning, but what's disappointing is, like I said, the reaction from the players in terms of the criticism that they're getting, their reaction to that criticism it's starting to be like an us and them, us versus them kind of situation, which nobody wants. But we can't just sit back and praise these kind of performances. Yes, it's good that we're through to the next round and stuff, and everyone will admit that everyone wants that at the end of the day. But it's the manner. Is it sustainable? Is it sustainable going through the latter stage of that tournament? I don't think it is. Most people don't think it is, and it's turgid football. And it's like people expect to be bored now when they watch England, and
Mm,
that's not how it should be. That's not how it should be.
Yeah,
But
but it does go back to what I said probably like a couple of episodes ago, where there's just no identity of what we're playing. Like, what is England identity? Like you said, all the other teams we can reel them off: the Spains, the Italy, etc. They all got their style of play. You know what to expect from them. With us at the moment of England, you don't know what you're going to expect. I don't know. We might turn up in Switzerland. There's five at the back. I don't know.
this is what they're saying. This is back five. Back five.
I,
Which
I've heard
might
that
play.
rumor too. I've heard that rumor
Yeah.
too. Five at the back, and they're probably going to have Trent on the right and let Walker tuck in as well. But
So, but in terms of the changes that he made, do you think? Listen, do you think it was all down to luck and good fortune, or do you think there was some sort of, I'll say tactical genius, but like you have to give Southgate credit for those changes that he made and that he didn't make as well. What do you reckon?
it's an all-in situation. Backs up against the wall. He's had to throw the kitchen sink, and the idea of having Ivan Tony on, as you can see in those stats, is that he's got a big physical presence and a huge aerial presence. So it's very evident that we basically went to kick and rush at that point. The days of yesteryear, let's just get it, put it in the mixer, put it in the mixer. That's what it was about. And you've got a guy like Ivan Tony who can cause chaos in the box. There was no real, in my opinion, no real genius about that. And it was very fortuitous. That could have easily, that bicycle kick could have gone over the bar. It could have been blocked. What then? We would have crashed out. We would have crashed out. So
yeah, sorry to interrupt, but that's the thing. It's a thin line. It's such a thin line that Bellingham, there's no doubt about it. Bellingham saved Southgate's job for a few more days, right? It
stay
was
of
that thin,
execution.
because like you said, if that bicycle didn't come off, I'm telling you now, headlines in the papers the next day,
But
guys,
you
go
see,
on.
because Trippier got subbed, right? Now, did he get subbed? Wasn't he carrying a little slight knock, and that's why he come off,
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
and that's why they make the first sub. And then you've got like they said he was tempted to take off Kane and Bellingham, yeah, because he thought they looked tired, they looked, they were suffering out there, but he didn't. Now, do you think that's because he thought that maybe they could change the game, or do you think it was some other reason that they stayed on the pitch? Like I can't this you,
Honestly, go on.
you give him credit. Listen, you have to give him credit because the subs that he made, they were effective, right? Whether or not he should have made them a lot earlier, but we also touched on whether the likes of Anthony Gordon should have played because my belief is that game was made for him because Slovakia were leaving so much space on the wings, yeah, that especially on that side, right? It Anthony Gordon would that would have been food and drink for him, right? But Southgate can't see it now. Maybe it's because maybe I give Slovakia credit because they've seen Trippier and he knows he cuts back and Foden's not comfortable on left. Maybe they thought, okay, we can allow them a bit of space there because they're not really gonna, be that direct. But the one time they were direct, they created the goal that was disallowed. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm hesitant to give Gareth credit for it. I think more, like I said, I think it was just a stroke of good luck. Obviously he's brought Tony on to be direct and stuff, but bringing him on with 90 seconds to go and that, I'm not convinced. Not convinced.
Wasn't the other thing that pre-game, I think Shaw was deemed to be fit for selection as well,
He was on the
a
bench, I think,
natural
wasn't
left back. So I
he?
thought he would have got maybe 20 to 30 minutes, and he didn't get any game time either.
Which is strange. Yeah, yeah. And I know he's back in
Is he gonna
training,
play?
so
Is he gonna play in the tournament? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
this is it.
I'm telling you now, that guy should never come on the plane. Waste. How you bring an injured man to the squad, taking up space?
Tyreek Mitchell sat at home, as poor as he's been in terms of form wise. Ben Chilwell, at least he's left footed, because
Yeah,
as
Yeah,
technical as trips is, it's gonna slow the attack down. You run, turn inside, pass your right foot,
yeah,
or give it forward, turn inside, wait to cut it back. It's very easy to defend against. You're not challenging the fullback. Do you see what
yeah.
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. So given the form, um, are you guys concerned for England going into the next round? And who do you think should start, and who do you think should be dropped for the next game, for this Switzerland game? I'll start with you, AC.
So I think, we scream about it every game, but Anthony Gordon, he's got to start. I'm sorry, he has to, especially knowing that Switzerland are going to play with a bit of a high line, especially if Gareth really wants to just sit back and park the bus. Switzerland all day are going to be like, right, Fabian Schär and I forgot the other guy's name who's going to sit next to him. They're going to be
Akanji.
pretty much
Kanji.
Akanji, yeah. Akanji and Shah pretty much going to be in the center circle, right? That's how Highline are playing, because they're confident in doing that. And obviously, when I watched the previous game, Shah was just pinging the balls all day. He likes to ping the balls. And I do fear for England. I fear for them. But, this is going to be a game about attack. Your best, and I always thought about this about England in general, is that England are best when they attack. England are not good at trying to play like the chess moves of the pass sides and trying to do the through. They're not good at that. They're just not good at that. They're better off just being direct attack, hit the wings hard. So therefore, I expect to see Gordon get a start, hopefully. But the realistic of it, I don't think it will happen. I think Foden will still stay on the left. Foden's not moving on the left hand side. It's just not going to happen. Going back to the whole midfield, I think Mainu has to start, but I got this feeling he's going to put Gallagher in there. I don't know why, and I think it's going to upset everyone. Even though we know how great Mainu's been, he's going to do that. And I got this really weird feeling. There's a rumor about the back five, but I can see it happening. I can see it happening. This back five is going to appear, and everyone's going to scratch their head, thinking, "What is going on here?" But at the same time, though, we'll possibly will then see Trent actually in a natural position of right back. But I don't know. I feel like some players, I wouldn't be afraid to, if this was my decision, first of all, I wouldn't have a back five, but I wouldn't be afraid to almost like drop Walker, I think Walker looked a bit tired, a little bit fatigued. And I think most of these players are fatigued. Let's face it, they played a lot of football this season.
But so is
But
everyone.
that is
Yeah.
true. That is true. That is true.
But AC, if you drop him, because Mark Gay, I'm not saying he's not got electric pace. Do you know what I mean?
He's suspended.
Stones is slow. Oh, girl, he's
That is a good point.
suspended.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
I
think.
forgot about that.
Conte's gonna
Right.
come. They reckon Conte's gonna come
Oh
in.
man, it's a problem. It's a problem. I actually think Gareth's only way is to attack. I think if you sit back and invite pressure, you're
No.
going to have problems, because Vargas has pace, Ndoye has pace, Breel and Bolo has pace and power. So, with Gerhi not being there, it's not as if we've got Harry Maguire. Stones is similar to Cher. He's a bit more elegant. I'm worried. I'm worried. And Xhaka is in, the prime moments of his career.
He's looking sharp,
He's
man.
Yeah,
I'm
balling.
telling
He
they
you.
is
have
balling.
threats.
He
They
is
have
looking
threats.
sharp.
I
He's
just don't
playing
get
confidence.
why Foden is protected. At the end of the day, his England record is poor, and all we keep hearing is he's our most talented player. Talented players deliver. Talented players deliver. He's not delivering. It's nice to have a few flicks and nice touches, shots on target. At the end of the day, people criticize Bellingham. Bellingham's got 2 goals. People criticize
Mm,
Saka. Saka's got an assist. As much as we get on Kane's back, and he's had probably the worst tournament I've ever seen, in his England career, he's got 2 goals. For me, Foden is the one that needs to step out. Foden
I,
is the one, and I would, if you're not gonna play Gordon, play Palmer there. Then, you know,
well, this is it. I actually think.
Forgot
I
about
mean,
Palmer.
I might be wrong, but I think they'll play a back five of Walker, Stones, and Konsa, and I think the left wing back is going to be Bukayo Saka. I think he's going to put Saka left wing back. Listen, and I think
okay.
the right wing back he's going to have to do. Trip is an option, but he has to go Trent. He has to go Trent. If he's going to do it, he has to put Trent right wing back,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
He's gonna.
I'm
He
telling
can't
you,
defend
I'm telling you now,
either.
right? I'm telling you
but
now, if Saka
And
starts left back, right, I'm gonna have to like message Ian Wright myself and say,
but
this
the
is on
thing is,
you. This
I
is
don't know
on
if he
you.
I don't know if he plays like two up front with Tony and Kane. That's another thing I don't. I'm not sure if he does.
so
Like
you think 5-3-2 potentially then?
5-3-2. Yeah. So, but then it's tough because the three has to still be Rice, Mainu, and Bellingham, right? Unless you play um Rice, Mainu, Bellingham, and then you don't play Tony, you play Kane, and you play one of Palmer or Foden, right?
Mm.
So I just think he's got a little surprise because if you're gonna play five at the back, that left because I think he's gonna. I think Saturday tell me Palmer's gonna start and Saka's gonna be left wing back, bro. Because you can't play Trippier left wing back, right? Shaw's not
Mm.
fit enough to play wing back, left wing back. So you're running out of options. You're running out of options. So I think the whole Saka experiment, I think that might be the one, and he might tweak it throughout the game and stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Gonna be interesting. We'll find out. I think by tomorrow we'll know what his lineup is. Yeah, but so do right. Let's move to the Switzerland game now. Who do you think is going through in this one?
Honestly,
Hmm.
honestly, Switzerland.
Yeah.
Seriously, yeah, Switzerland. I've been watching this team throughout this tournament, and for those of you listening to this podcast right now, you will know that I back that Switzerland corner. Not proudly, but it is what it is. They've been playing some good football. I've been saying it, and they've been going under the radar. Now they're in the quarterfinals, and people still are not waking up. It's like, when will you wake up? You will wake up when they beat England, and
Right.
then they're going to face possibly then. I'm just trying to think what the lineup of the next
Is it
side.
Holland?
Yes, Holland
Holland
v
Yeah,
and Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so I feel like we're going to see Switzerland versus Holland potentially in the next round, but I think I don't know. I can only go off the evidence of England so far in this tournament, and face it, they've been facing teams, and there's obviously no disrespect to these oppositions, right? Because they still have something. They're in this tournament for a reason, right? They're qualified to be in this tournament because they are good teams. But the fact is, on paper, we should be blowing the gates off these teams, right?
Mm.
And now this is the first test against Switzerland. They're not going to match that pace on the wings, and you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Fabian Schär is going to Fabian Schär. It's going to be pinging those balls, right? And it's going to be a conflict for us Newcastle fans. So we're going to see him. He's going to have
He better
ball
not come
now.
back to St James's, bro. Because
Listen,
imagine if he
listen,
scored the winner. Mm-mm,
Wait,
listen,
mm-mm.
listen.
wait.
This is Fabian Schär's preseason right now. He's just shaping up for the. It's all good. It's a win-win in my eyes. I'm like, Switzerland
Huh?
come through. Fabian Schär has a
Nah,
good
man.
tournament.
Nah, man. Listen, I think England will go through. I think Southgate is the luckiest manager alive, right? And again, when it comes to these knockout rounds, it's not about the performance, it's about the result. Yeah, and England they've been finding a way, right? And I think they will find it. I think again, I think it's gonna be close. I don't think it'll be a particularly good game. I don't think they create many chances and stuff, but I think this time they're gonna go 1-0 up and they'll frustrate Switzerland and maybe get another one. So I'll say like a 2-0. But I've got certain people at work. Most people are fearful of Switzerland, right? But I've got this one guy. He said he slayed England all day to me. He said how rubbish they were, how pathetic the performance was, and then he comes up with he's telling me, yeah, I think we'll put 3 or 4 past Switzerland. Huh? I'm
Wow.
like, listen, I don't know anybody else that confident. Yeah, at least 4 for past them. What
Wow.
evidence have you got to suggest that England going to put 4 past it?
Mhm,
Unless Switzerland go down to 9 men, right?
mhm.
I can't see it, but I still think they will progress. Maybe, yeah, I think maybe a late goal to seal it. I think it's 2-0. I think it's 2-0. Jefferson.
I think it's finally poised, like a boxing match. I think inside the 90, if it stays inside the 90, Switzerland, I just can't see how England can contain their pace, you know. And they're playing really well, Switzerland. They're confident. They've got a good system and they've got threats from distance, like Rodriguez, he shoots from range. Xhaka, he shoots from range. If they bring Shaqiri, he shoots from range. My guy, not Vargas. I think they had enough. Was it Vargas? Curled
Mm.
one against Italy. So they've got so many threats, and I think we're gonna really struggle. So I think inside the 90, Switzerland. However, if it goes to extra time and pens, England. I think pens, we beat them. Extra time could be very similar to the last game. Put it in the mixer, see what happens. But the key to winning this game for England has to be those substitutions. We've got weapons on the bench. We got to use them. You know, I don't know why he's keeping his powder dry because time's running out. It's knockout
Mm.
football. It's sudden death at this point. You got to put all your cards on the table if you really want this win. You know,
Have some balls, man. Have some kahunas.
That's it.
cojones, man,
Have some
grande
kahunas.
cojones.
And I will say this as well to add to it, if I do see Anthony Gordon starting, I might look at this game a bit differently.
You won't see him starting, but I don't think you're
But
going to see another minute for the tournament. I honestly don't. I honestly
waste,
don't. He might as well just
waste.
go home. He might as well go home. But I hope Southgate surprises me. But in a quarterfinal, this is not. He's going to see this is not the time to make that much of a drastic change and start
No,
Anthony
he won't.
Gordon.
He won't. He's going
You
to
know what I
be
mean?
very just like defensive. He's going to
Yeah.
go 1-0 up and park the bus. I'm telling you, it's just going to be, it's going to be tiring, man. It's going to be tiring to watch. It's going to be a hard watch. It's going to be one of those 90-minute games that feels like it's been going on for 160 minutes. So,
Before we just wrap up with the rest of the tournament and stuff, the quarterfinals, Bellingham, his celebration. People are saying it's arrogant. He needs to be taken down a peg or two. Or what's your thoughts on it? Because what did he said? Who else or something? He said who else, and then obviously he did that gesture at the end of the game. Like, what's your thoughts on that quickly?
That was obviously to the opposition, man. Come on. That wasn't to his friend. He's been bagged. He's been caught out. And we tend to find this with these sort of mercurial talents, isn't it? They have these sort of uh outlandish personalities. They push it to the
ego,
edge.
my friend. Ego.
Big egos. Yeah. So
Bellingham got a big ego.
he's been caught out. He's been caught out. And hopefully he doesn't get banned. Otherwise, we
He'll
are
just
in.
hold a fine. He'll hold a fine. I don't think he'll get banned. I think he'll hold a fine. But interestingly, I saw a stat. For his first 150 games, Dele Alli has better stats than Bellingham.
I see that as
At
well.
this stage. People are saying that Dele Alli was better than Jude Bellingham at this stage. So don't get too hyped in it. But listen, that's a conversation for another day. Another day. But AC, looking at the roundup for the quarterfinals,
Mhm.
Spain versus Germany. That's the big one. Who's your money on?
Oh man, it's
Spain,
a tough. Go
Spain
on.
got the magic winger, the young boys on the
Right,
wing, man.
right. I have to say, like, we all probably in agreement here that in terms of like entertaining to watch and team that is just like showcasing, it is Spain at the moment. They are putting on a performance. Those two wingers, they're gonna have good time there. But at the same time, Germany are just Germany. And offline, I was joking with you both, talking about Rudiger. him at him at the
Maniac.
back, man. He's such a madman. But he's doing some mad stuff the other day where when players just drop in the box and try getting those penalties, whatever, he was just picking up man from behind and was like, come on. Like he's not going to accept no messing about from Spain, because Spain are going to be that team as well. They're going to, as usual, they hit the box, a little touch, they're going to drop to the ground. Rudiger is just not going to have it. But setup though, we've got some players in that Germany team as well who are having a great tournament as well. The young kid, I forgot his
Star
name.
Boys versus the Star Boy, Musiala.
Musiala, that's the guy.
Yeah.
And he's currently one of the top leaders of goal scorers if we ignore own goals for now. That's
9
a
own goals. What the F is going on?
Mr. Own Goal should give a
Wow.
big trophy towards that. But
Shocking.
Masala is at the moment drawing, I think it's 3 goals. And
3
I think
goals.
other people who are
Gakpo
drawing
as
with
well.
that, Gakpo as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be an entertaining one. But it's Germany on home soil. But I do expect Spain to go through though.
Jefferson, who's your money on?
If it's left to the officials and VAR, then Germany. But I think Spain's going to slap them up, man. Their first team in their bench is just too strong. They move the ball quickly. They play at pace. They got so much speed. They've got a complete game,
Yeah, I actually think Germany's going to do it.
3-0 Spain.
3-0. Okay.
3-0.
I actually think Germany going to do it. Similar to you, I think they're going to get a dodgy decision to edge it. But what worries me about Spain is the lack of a clinical finisher. Yeah, Morata ain't that guy. Don't get me wrong, they share the goals and that, but for the chances that they create, I don't think they score enough. I know they put 4 past Mama Dashvili's team the other day, but
Georgia.
I just think if Germany take the lead, it's a wrap. I think they'll
Wow.
I think they'll frustrate Spain. The likes of Rudiger is mind games and he's pumping man in the back when the rest not looking and that. I just can't see, and I can't see the officials allowing Germany to go out in the quarterfinals. So, but I think it should be a good game. One I'm looking forward to. And then we've got Portugal versus France. Now,
I can't decide this one at all.
I think France are going out.
So do I. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo dropped one hell of a stinker the other day. Like Father Time has really clapped him about the other day, but it'd be just like him to score the winner in this game. But I just think France look almost as bad as England at the moment. They just don't.
They haven't scored a goal.
I can't disagree with you there.
Own goals
and a penalty.
And a penalty.
Yeah, so it's not looking good for them. It's not good for them. So they need Mbappe to turn up. They need a couple of the other big players to really put on a show, because
so
Portugal, Portugal, the talent that Portugal have, I just think is going to be too much for France. I don't think it's going to be a great game, but
hold tight, Pepe. By the way, 41.
41.
Wow, you think the way he's playing? Wow,
yeah,
fantastic. Kudos to him.
Holding it down, man. Holding it down. Yeah. But it's a weird one with France. I look at that squad, the players of that team. It's just like you're spoiled for choice. Honestly, that bench is ridiculous. But they're not putting it together. It's almost more of a crime than England in that sense, because you look at the lineup and you're just like, what is going on? And no one's
really to the Southgate with a bigger head, bro. That's what it is, bro. He's the same guy.
No one's really calling it at the moment. But Mbappe is missing right now. No one's saying it.
His nose is broke, man. He's got to wear that silly mask, and I think that might be a little thing. I don't know.
Zorro.
But but like you said, for a superstar with so much reputation and what he's done in the season for PSG and stuff, this was meant to be his tournament, and he hasn't turned up yet. But he's escaping criticism. He's escaping it.
No one's talking about it. No one's saying.
That's it. No one's talking about. Should they go out? No, it might be a different story. He might not be able to return to France, but it is what it is. But and then lastly, you got Netherlands versus Turkey.
I can see I can see an upset here.
Penalties. I can see
I
penalties.
can see upset, man. I can see Netherlands going out. I'm not even joking.
This
I
is why
think
Southgate is so lucky, because I think he'll scrape through versus Switzerland and he'll face Turkey in the next
Turkey.
round, bro. I honestly believe he'll face Turkey in the semis. You couldn't write this, bro. You could not write this.
Ah,
But I
but
think Turkey.
Just
But
looking
Turkey,
out
Netherlands,
for a dishy kebab.
listen,
Netherlands is such a weird team. It's another one. I look at him, it's like, what's going on?
I told
I'm
you
looking
about
at
the pie. I told
yeah,
you.
you told me, and I have to admit, I'm gonna have to like once again eat my words. A few episodes ago, I was obviously like, nah, man, Mr. Pie's doing all right. I saw him, what was it yesterday, wasn't it? And he was taking corners and they were going straight out. So I was like, what is going on? But
Yeah,
their shining star at the moment is Gappo. He's one of the
yeah.
top goal scorers in the competition. He could make the difference in the team at the moment. Apart from that,
But
it's a bit
Turkey are the Gula for Real Madrid, the teenager, balling,
He's having a good
balling.
tournament.
great
Mm,
tournament for him. Yeah.
mm. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. Obviously, we'll find out soon enough, and then we can revisit this on our next episode. How things are progressing. But yeah, for those listening and watching, leave your comments. Let us know who you think is gonna to go through to the next round. Your thoughts on England, what lineup the Southgate's gonna come up with, what kind of nonsense he's gonna put out. But yeah, don't forget to
Five
like,
at the
comment,
back.
and subscribe. That's it. That's it. Maybe
Five
Oh,
at the
maybe
back.
it's a change from 8 at the back that he did against Slovakia, bro. But yeah, keep liking, commenting, subscribing to the podcast. But I think that's a good place to leave it. So thank you all for watching and those listening. But yeah, you can catch us on the socials on the at X, formerly Twitter, at 90s Mags 1990. That's 90S Mags 1990. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
peace.
Peace, people. In a bit.